Good morning, everyone. Today we will discuss about measuring of torque and strain gauge rosettes. It is the last topic in fourth unit. In yesterday's class, we will discuss about the usage method of usage of resistive strain gauge. So, in that resistance strain gauge, what are the different methods we are using and what are the different applications we are using on these different types of strain gauges. In this also the torque, we can calculate the torque by using strain gauge measuring instrument. If that strain gauge, we can calculate the torque and different forces are acting on the object. So in that object, we can calculate the uh, what type of directional forces are acting on that object and what is torque and how the torque is developed in that object. We can calculate by using this strain gauge measuring instrument. And also the strain gauge rosettes. The strain gauge rosettes means there are different directional forces are acting on that object. If the strain gauge is connected to that object, it is the different directional forces are also acts on this strain gauge. So what are those different directional forces are acting on that strain gauges? We can derive an equation for that strain gauge rosettes. So first of all, we can see what is the measuring of torque and what is torque. What is the torque measuring instrument and how to calculate torque by using strain gauge measuring instrument. So what are the torque fundamental concepts? It is what is torque and what is the working of torque? What is the uh, uses of torque, advantages and applications? These are overall about the torque. The vector product of position, vector and force called torque. If magnitude is equal to radius r into force, we can calculate the torque. Okay, the vector product. That means which object I am taking, if the forces are acting on that object, the object um should rotates. It should be rotates about that different forces are acting on that object. It is you can see the what type of forces are acting on this object. You can observe it is x direction and y direction and also three-dimensional direction z axis. These are the three directions of that object. So whenever the force is applied, that is inclined forces are applied, vertical forces or any type of forces is applied on that object, the object should be rotated. The object should be rotated. That means um, if the torque is a measure of the force that can cause an object to rotate about an axis. Suppose it is the axis of the object. It is the you can see this red color, this red color arrow mark. Okay, so that is the object axis. So the object is rotates about this axis only, about this axis only. Just as a force is causes an object to accelerate in linear kinematics, torque is what causes an object to acquire angular acceleration. So the direction of torque vector depends upon the direction of force on the axis. If the torque, it should be denoted as tau. Tau. Basically, the torque is denoted as tau. It is radius r into how much amount of force is acting on that body, that is F. That is the formula. And we can get the torque T is equal to resultant R into F sine alpha. F sine alpha. The object should be placed some amount of angle. The object is placed some amount of angle, that is alpha. The alpha is indicates as the angle angle of rotation of the object. Okay. So the R is the radius of the curve, and F is the force. The alpha is the angle between force and the lever arm. Alpha is the force and the lever arm. T is the torque. Okay, so it is the just minimum formula of the torque calculation. Minimum formula of the torque calculation, and the magnitude. The torque is also denoted by the magnitude, and is equal to resultant R into F sine alpha. Okay, and next one, what are the uses of torque measuring by using strain gauges? What are the uses? It means test rigs, that is electrical test rigs or combustion test rigs, and power in the test rigs, power efficiency of factor, torque over angle rotation measuring, etc. These are the uses of test rigs. And screw application, it is detent torque, calibrate torque key, etc. These are the screw applications of the torque measuring by using strain gauges. Okay, and what is stress and strain? How to get it? How to develop a torque by using strain? So strain is caused by torque. Strain is caused by torque. If the strain, the tensile strains are acting on that body, the torque is developed on that body. If the strain is acts on the body at different directions, at different directions, that is angular directions or vertical directions, any type of directions, the strain is acts on the body should be rotates. Okay, what is elastic strain? If balanced forces act on a solid body from outside, a change in form and volume occurs, which can be measured. If a balanced forces, the forces are balanced in the elastic strain, these strains are acting on the body from the outside, the forces is balanced. A change in form and volume occurs, which can be measured. So when how much amount of strains is applied on that body, automatically the volume of the body is changed. So we can measure that change in volume. Once these forces stop acting, the distortion go back completely, provided the deformation has not exceeded a certain limit. Otherwise the body of measurement becomes useless. Once these forces stop, uh, if the forces are acting on that body, it should be stopped. The volume is not changed. Whenever the forces are applied on that body, whenever the strain forces are applying on that body, it should be getting a deformed shape. Okay, so that is the elastic strain applied on that body. You can observe there are tensile strains are applied on this body. Tensile strains. Okay, these are the tensile strains. We are applied these tensile strains applied on that body. The strain epsilon is defined as the relative change of length. The length of the body should be changed. It is the original length. You can see it is the original length of the body. We am taking this original body, that is L. Okay, we are applying tensile forces on that body. We are applying the tensile forces, that is F, and the tensile forces are applying on that body. If the body should be deformed, the volume of the body is changed, the length of the body is changed. Okay, you can observe it is delta L. The delta L means the change in length. The delta L is change in length. If epsilon is equal to delta L by L. Epsilon is equal to delta L by L. That means strain is equal to change in length by original length. Change in length by original length. So that is strain occurred on one body, and uh, how the strain is obeys the Hooke's law. How the strain is obeys the Hooke's law. Hooke's law is Hooke's range of the curve. It can be written as modulus of elasticity. That means E. It is denoted by E. E is equal to sigma by epsilon. Sigma by epsilon. You can see uh, how the strain is obeys the Hooke's law. Modulus of elasticity, capital E is equal to stress by strain. Stress by strain. That is sigma by epsilon. Okay, that is modulus of elasticity. If we can written as epsilon is equal to sigma by this epsilon go this side. Okay, so epsilon into E is equal to sigma. Epsilon into E is equal to sigma. I can written as strain epsilon is equal to stress by modulus of elasticity. Stress by modulus of elasticity. That means epsilon is equal to sigma by E. So it is the final. You can see how to calculate stress by using this condition. Stress sigma is equal to epsilon into modulus of elasticity E. So I'll get this final condition of this formula, that is stress sigma is equal to E into epsilon. E into epsilon. If sigma is the normal stress and capital E is the modulus of elasticity. Capital E is the modulus of elasticity. With torsion applies to shear stress. With the torsion is applied on that body. How should gets the uh, torque developed in that body? It is T is equal to G into gamma, Z into gamma. That is torque T is equal to shear stress tau. Tau is equal to shear stress tau is equal to Z into gamma. That means Z is equal to shear module and gamma is slip. Gamma is slip. If the high forces or high amount of loads are acting on that body, the body should be slipped. The object should be slipped. That is tau is equal to G into gamma. If we can get gamma is equal to epsilon into 1 plus mu. Epsilon into 1 plus mu. Okay, epsilon into 1 plus mu. So I can get Z shear module is equal to E by 2 into 1 plus mu. It is the final condition. That means at one axial stress condition and the following relationship is applied, I can get Z is equal to E by 2 into 1 plus mu. So if the strain is obeys the Hooke's law by this condition. So the modulus of elasticity E is the proportional factor. It is the material constant with unit Newton per mm square. It influences the sensor performance regarding its sensitivity. The module itself is influenced by temperature. Okay, so the temperature is also developed whenever the loads are acting on that object. So the temperature is developed on the strain gauge. So it also obeys the Hooke's law condition. The strains are acting on that body. So what is the stress and strain relation? The elastic range is influenced by strain. The modulus of elasticity, there is an overstrain in the plastic range, making the body of measurement useless. That is, you can observe this graph. You can observe this graph. Elastic range. So it is the maximum elastic range. That is the plastic range. It is sigma s. Sigma s is the elastic limit, and sigma e b is the breaking strength. So it is the breaking point of that object. It is the breaking point of that object, and epsilon b is the breaking stress, break, stress. Okay, so it is the stress and strain relation. We already known about this stress and strain relation in previous classes. Next, what are the different methods to measure torque? So, what are the different techniques? What are the different methods used to measure the torque? In it is divided into two categories. It is mechanical strain and torsion angle. That is, uh, resistive strain gauge is used to uh, calculate the torque in twisting movements. That is, the strains are applied on that object, it should be twisted. That means the object should be rotated based upon the object axis. So the automatically the torque is developed on that object. Okay, so in that resistive strain gauge we can calculate the torque. And next one, the piezoelectric thick film sensor. The piezoelectric thick film sensor is placed on the object, we can calculate the torque. And next one, magnetoelastic ring magnet. A magnetoelastic, a ring magnet is placed on the object. The object should be rotated. The torque is developed on that object. And next one, pattern recognition, photoelasticity, uh, capacitive strain gauge, mechanic oscillation string, surface wave resonator. These are all torque measuring instruments. If the strains are acting on that body, if the forces are acting on that body, the body should be twisted. That means the object should be rotated about its axis. Automatically, the torque is developed. The torque should be calculated using that torque expression formula. And the torsion angle. Torsion angle. That is angle difference, phase shift, shield, yoke, coil, slotted sleeves. That means eddy current, slotted sleeves, eddy current segment discs, capacitive absolute and differential. These are also calculate the torque by using different optical measuring and transformers and differential transformer and eddy currents. These are all torque measuring instruments. Okay. So the torque measurement via differential transformer. Due to torsion, a coil leaves its original position, unlike that the induction or coupling changes. The illustration shown an idealized coil system. In practice, the system is positioned in a radius. The signal is not linear. So the torque measurement via differential transformer. The differential transformer is placed on the object. It is the object. So it is the object axis. Whenever the forces is applied on that object, suppose in these forces, this type of forces are acting on that body. The body should be rotated. The body should be rotated. The body should be twisted. The body should be twisted. So in that twisted motion, the torque is developed based upon this um, induction coil is arranged on this object. That is, a differential transformer is placed on the object. You can see these are the twisting directions. These are the twisting directions. These twisting directions uh, in that transformer, the resistance is developed. The resistance is developed. Based upon that resistance, we can calculate the torque. Okay. Torque measurement via differential transformer. You can see it is the differential transformer torque measuring instrument applied over 15 years. Very small measuring range is possible, no active components, low inductivities, high temperature range, accuracy is less than strain gauge transducer. Mechanical construction is very complex. So it is the different properties and different points of this uh, torque measuring via differential transformer. And next one, torque measurement with the magnetoflexible toric magnet. Magnetoflexible toric magnet. So the magnetoflexible toric magnet is placed on the object, whenever the forces are applied on the object should be rotated about its axis. So the torque is developed. A magnetic field is generated by a ring. You can observe a magnetic field is generated by a ring. A magnetic field is generated by this ring of the magnetoelastic material, which is magnetized in circumferential direction, influenced by stress. A magnetic reorientation occurs and an external magnetic field develops, which is measured with magnetic field sensors. One is passive system, and it is a passive system and low cost and less accuracy getting. Okay, these are the different properties of the magnetoflexible magnetoflexible toric magnet. And next one, torque measurement using torsion angle. So the how the angle should be uh, placed and the measuring of torque by using different strain gauges in the range of elastic strain. The following correlation between the torsion angle and the torque M applies on that body. You can observe the orientation of the angle at circular cylindrical shaft. You can observe this diagram. A circular cylinder shaft, the forces are acting on that object. Okay, if polar moment of inertia ip is equal to pi into d power 4 by 32, it is the formula of calculating the torque by using torsion angle. Okay, you can see this diagram. The torque acting on that body is some inclined forces are acting on that body. So that is a torque angle. So what is the principle of torque transducer? So what is the principle of torque transducer? If we can calculate the torque, that is, first of all, we can take that measuring body and the strain is applied on that body based upon that strain gauge. Uh, uh, the strain is applied on that strain gauge, and the change it gets finally it gets the change in volume to that original volume, change in volume to the original volume. So whenever we calculate the torque, if first of all we can take that measuring body, we can apply the strains on that body. uh, Whenever we apply the strains on that body, if the body should be the volume of the body is changed, that is, we can get change in volume to the original volume. So we can calculate the voltage or resistance is developed on that strain gauge. We can calculate through the torque. Then uh, that voltage is passed through the ADC, that is uh, digital formation transmission system, and the processing and the conversion. And finally, you can get voltage frequency resistance, that is 232C field bus. So that voltage, that output should be calculated based upon these digital conditions. We can calculate finally the conversion of that output. It is we can get voltage frequency. That voltage frequency we can calculate the torque by using this torque transducer. Okay, and strain gauges. So the strain gauges, it is the method the electric resistance of a wire is changed by the influence of the strain, and the length of the wire is increased to the length. That means the original length to the change in length. The original length L and the change in length, it is L plus DL. L plus DL. The DL is the change in length. The diameter D is reduced by the amount of DD. That is change in diameter to the original diameter. That is D plus D. Capital D is the uh, original diameter, and DD is the change in diameter. The change of resistance of a wire is proportional to the strain of the wire. So how should we calculate that change in resistance? By using a Wheatstone bridge circuit. Okay, So what are the applications of strain gauges in industry? If the measuring technology with strain gauge is universally applied in practice, the method helps to obtain maximum accuracies. Advantages is it can be applied in calibration devices, no drift, static measurements are possible. So in different applications, the strain gauges are used in different industries and different um, companies and different labs and different measuring uh, devices. We can use as this type of strain gauges. And also, what are the disadvantages? Application of strain gauge and the evolution of the signal are complex, and energy supplies is required. The ambient temperature per STM torque sensors is maximally 100 degrees centigrade. These are the disadvantages. Okay. Strain gauge applications: marking lines on the measuring body to place the strain gauge, fasting the strain gauge on the measuring body, wiring the strain gauge, cover the strain gauge, make the compensation. You can see strain gauge application and clean room, figure workplace and the strain gauge application. The workplace we are using strain gauges, clean room cell class 100, and endoscope for quality assurance, humidity sensor. If the object quality sensor, we can measure by using strain gauges. Okay, so those are all about the usage of um, torque by using strain gauges. And next topic, it is stress and strain relationships of gauge rosets. Stress and strain relationships and gauge rosets. It means there are different directional forces are acting on the object. Uh, how the um, body should be twisted, how the different strains are acting, if the body should be deformed, how the resistance is developed, and how should we calculate that amount of stresses, that universal or unidirectional or bidirectional or tridirectional, any type of directional forces are acting on that body, that amount of forces, how should we calculate? uh, it should explain by this expression. Single gauges are used where the loading in is uniaxial and the direction is known. When the test member is loaded either in tension or compressed or due to bending stress, it is related to strain. The stress sigma is equal to strain epsilon into modulus of elasticity E. Okay, so whenever the stresses or strains are acting on that body, the length of the body is changed, the diameter of the body is changed, the volume of the body is changed. If this volume of the body is changed, automatically the resistance is also changed. Okay, so the stress sigma is equal to strain epsilon into modulus of elasticity. For biaxial stresses, it is uniaxial stresses. Okay, if we are applying biaxial stresses, the uniaxial stresses, it means you can see this diagram. Suppose it one object, only one direction of forces are acting on that body. Any type of one directions are acting on that body. Okay, the strains, the forces are acting on this body only unidirectional. Okay. For biaxial stress fields, two or more gauges are used in the different directions. Consider two stresses sigma 1 and sigma 2 acting at right angles to each other. Taking effect of sigma 1 is alone, it will be introduced a strain sigma 1 by E in the direction of x direction, and strain mu sigma 1 by E in the y direction. Likewise, in the stress, sigma 2 will be introduced sigma 2 by E strain in the y direction, and the strain mu sigma 2 to E by x direction. The resultant strains x and y directions are then obtained by superimposition. That means the forces are acting on that body, it is bidirectional. The forces are acting on that body biaxial directions. Suppose it is the body, if we can take x-axis and y-axis, x-axis and y-axis. So the forces are acting on that body is x-axis and also y-axis, like this. The forces are acting on this body x-axis and y-axis also. The forces, the strains are acting on that body is bidirectional, x direction and y direction. That is biaxial uh, stresses are acting on that body. So in that condition, epsilon 1 is equal to, I can get 1 by E into sigma 1 minus mu sigma 2. So how should I get this equation? It is, I am using two strain gauges. I am using two strain gauges. That is, two or more, you can see two or more gauges are used in different directions. Two or more, suppose in x-axis direction and y-axis direction, x direction and y direction. X direction I can get sigma 1 by E, and y direction I get as mu sigma 1 by E. So it is only one strain gauge, and another strain gauge I can get sigma 2 is sigma 2 by E, and y direction mu into sigma 2 by E in x direction. These are the condition. You can see epsilon 1 is equal to 1 by E into sigma 1 minus mu sigma 2, and epsilon 2 is equal to 1 by E into sigma 2 minus mu sigma 1. These are the strains are developed in that bidirectional forces are acting on that object. From this equation, sigma 1, I can calculate this sigma 1 is E into epsilon 1 plus mu into epsilon 2 by 1 minus mu square, 1 by 1 minus mu square. Okay, so it is the sigma 1 equation at a one strain gauge. And next one, thus under the assumed biaxial loading system, the stresses sigma 1 and sigma 2 can be computed from the strain values epsilon 1 and epsilon 2 found with the help of strain gauges. So there are multiple grid rosettes are a group of gauges bonded to the same supporting material in the definite relative positions. Depending upon the arrangement of the grids, we have the rectangular delta and T delta rosettes. From that formula calculation, principal strains and stresses are given below. The gauges are to be aligned in principal direction, and theta is the angle of reference measured positive in counterclockwise direction. So what he told is the forces are acting, it is unidirectional, bidirectional and tridirectional, and the different directional forces are acting on that object. So the shear stresses are developed. We can calculate the shear stresses. We are using multiple strain gauges on that particular object. Okay, so it is the condition 2-element rosette, 3-element rosette, 3-element rosette delta. The 2-element rosette is this rectangular and 3-element rosette is delta. So finally I can get tan 2 theta is equal to 2 epsilon 2 minus epsilon 1 minus epsilon 3 by epsilon 1 minus epsilon 3. It is the final condition I can get at a different conditions. Okay, I can get the principal stresses. It is sigma maximum and sigma minimum. I can get E by 2 into this formula, and maximum shear stress is equal to tau maximum is equal to, I can get this formula. So it is the stress and strain relationships of the strain gauge rosettes. So in this class, I will complete total fourth unit should be completed. In next class, we will start a new unit in this instrumentation and control system subject. So thank you guys.